All right, all right, all right. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. So, this is the day that, guess what? It is the last day of our 14-day gratitude challenge. And when I tell you, I can definitely speak for me and others that it has been a gratifying journey, that it has been something that we have decided that we'd like to do for a lifetime because the benefits of it is just breathtaking. So, what I wanted to do was to, rather than just share it inside my group alone, which is a women who rise in hope and confidence, I wanted to just share with you also just some of the things uh, in terms of the benefits and how it impacts our destiny, right? So, again, a little bit later on, I'm going to go in my group and then recap with them also. But if you notice, the topic of this life basically said, okay, gratitude is the pathway to our destiny. Because oftentimes we probably overlook gratitude in terms of what really does it do for us? Does it really have anything to do with my destiny? Right? Do I even control my destiny? Do I have any input on my destiny? But guess what? The good news is that you do. So before I go any further, what I wanted you guys to do for me, hopefully you followed the instructions that says to go ahead and share. And if you haven't, I will just give you that lovely grace in this moment to do so. And then in addition to that, grab your family members if you're hanging around with them right now to let's talk about gratitude. Have them join in on the discussion to say, okay, how does gratitude really truly helps me? Is it really, something foo-foo, or is it something for real? All right. So say, hey, Dr. Cook, how are you? All right. Thanks for joining me here today. Alrighty. So, yeah, so let's go further. So now, uh, oftentimes we think that gratitude is something that we have to do. It's a feeling. Um, how can I feel gratitude if I'm going through a bad situation? And what does it really do for me? Well, there has been a lot of research that actually says, you know what? It does exactly the opposite of what you're thinking, to say, okay, there's nothing to be grateful for. I'm not going to feel any better because my situation is not better. There are studies in which we're going to go through in a few minutes. However, before we go any further, let me share with you, who am I? So I am Judy Ann Chung. I am your brilliance activator, your confidence, leadership, life coach, and speaker that helps women like you to restore your hope, strengthen your confidence, and ultimately activate your brilliance so you can soar. So that says a little bit about what I do. Now, let's get back to the subject at hand. So now, within the group, some of the things that I had shared, I had, if you know me by now, you know I am a research person, right? And I like to research things and literally get the buy-in into what is it that I'm talking about, because sometimes, you're not really that sure about what you're talking about. You just go by the way. Hey there, how are you? So I did some research and it was working with Edmonds. So Dr. Edmonds, right? And he had basically given what are some of the benefits of gratitude, right? And then also, is gratitude a reciprocal process? Because sometimes people think, okay, if I have to be thankful about something, that means that I owe somebody something because somebody did something for me, or it means that, I'm indebted to someone. But is that really so? Or is it also the opposite, wherein that gratitude makes you want to also give? So gratitude actually allows you to be a giver, right? So, hey, Paul, how are you doing? So it also allows you to be that giver. So this is one of the things that I wanted to put there. But anyway, so let us look at some of the benefits of gratitude. Now, this is scientific research, right? So it says we're going to deal with it from an individual basis, and then we're going to look at it from a group basis, right? And the reason why I want to break it down is to show you, because we have different people that are listening here. Those are people who are actually in charge of people in the corporate space or even in their businesses. And then, of course, for your own gratification, what does it do for you? Because let's face it, even if you're in charge of people, guess what? It all starts with me. It all starts with you. So that's one of the reasons I want to do the benefits of gratitude to the individual first, right? So let me just take a look at some of the studies here. So it says that it increases your level of happiness and it puts you in a more positive mood. Now, I'm sure you're saying positive mood. How can I be in a positive mood if I'm going through a value experience at this moment, right? Then it also says it gives you more satisfaction with life. It allows you to be less materialistic. It lets you experience less burnout. It also offers you better physical health, better sleep, less fatigue. And it also helps to lessen the inflammation in your body. And then, of course, it gives you greater resiliency, right? And then in addition to that, it says it encourages you to develop a practice of patience, humility, and wisdom. Now, I don't know about you, but I would definitely take all those benefits, right? Because they sound way too good not to like them, way too good not to want to benefit from them. Because if you notice, it covered, experiences that you may have in life. Then it covered the physical component of that you may experience. It even went as to cover your level of resiliency, your level of courage, as well as your level of fatigue and the ability to rest, right? So my laptop does this something rather strange. Hopefully it's not impacting my life. Let me guys know if you see anything strange happen. So anyway, so I don't know about you. And then it touched on wisdom. So for me, wisdom is a huge thing because that's one of my earnest prayer when I do pray. I said, Lord, give me wisdom, because I believe if I have wisdom, it allows me to really see beyond my current state. It allows me to be able to navigate better throughout this world. So if it's allowing me to better navigate throughout this world, I also am better positioned to impact my destiny, right? So then it broke it down into terms of groups. But what I'm going to do is to pause for a minute. And I just want you guys to talk back to me and let me know, what are your thoughts on gratitude and some of the benefits that I just mentioned? Hey, Georgia, how you doing? Happy Sunday to you too, right? So talk back to me, guys. Let me know the benefits that I just listed here, which again is steeped in scientific research, right? Tell me, do you believe it's nonsense? Or do you believe that there are truth to it and even have additional ones that you would like to add to it as the benefits of gratitude? And of course, we're all going to tie this back to our destiny, right? What does it have to do with our destiny, especially in the climate that we're going through, be it quarantine or social injustice? In terms of the environment, just the level of anxiety that is bringing forth with us now. So talk back to me, guys, and let me know, what are your thoughts of the benefits that I just read? And for those of you who are just joining, we are actually discussing about gratitude right now in terms of the benefits and the path to your destiny, right? So that I popped up the title up there so that you can see, for those who have just joined a little bit late. But let me know, talk back to me about the benefits that you're seeing going on here. So, okay. So Georgia just says, wisdom provokes self-control. Absolutely. Yeah, because if you have wisdom, it definitely lets you have some level of self-control, right? And if you think about it, in having self-control, you also are better positioned to impact your destiny, because you don't make decisions or you don't do things that will send you down a wrong path in terms of something that's negative for you. It better positions you to make the decisions that are more meaningful and will positively impact your life. So Georgia, I most certainly agree with you there. All righty. So, hey, Simone, happy Sunday to you too. All righty. So as we go through further, so Dr. Kokwa says, the topic is well researched and the benefits are accurate. So I agree with the things that you've shared. Oh, absolutely. All righty. So, and guys, remember, feel free to also drop in any additional benefits that you noticed that you possibly that I didn't share, right? So now let's look at the benefits from a group perspective that he mentioned, right? He also says, when you're working in a group, for those of you who are in charge of people, or even if you just work in a team, right? You may not be in charge of them, but your colleagues, right? Or even the people who are entrepreneurs on this line that are responsible for people who report into them, right? It says it strengthens relationships. It helps employees to be more effective among each other in terms of, I guess, their relation and how they work together in some level of cohesiveness. And it also increases your job satisfaction. Now, one may say, if I'm not getting the pay that I want, how does it increase my job satisfaction? Well, you see, it now takes us into the paradigm of, is my, glass half empty or is it half full, right? Because I can say to myself, my job may not be paying me exactly what I want or what I feel that I'm worth in terms of my value add that I bring to the company. However, during this period right now, there are many people who are out of jobs. And I'm one of the fortunate few who are not, who maybe not be impacted by the loss of income. So maybe if I look at things and switch it up in terms of the half empty versus half full, and then become grateful that the fact that I'm still employed right now, guess what that does for me? It is going to lessen my level of anxiety about my paycheck not being at the level that I want it to be in this moment. Now, it doesn't mean that the problem as I view it does not currently exist. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to work towards getting a higher paycheck. What it does is that it calms my anxiety and allows me to step back and say, okay, how can I rework this, present myself, present my case to my management, or even maybe look outside of the company to increase my paycheck. So if you see right there, it kind of allows you to shift your destiny, shift your view, and make better decisions. So let me just see. Paul says, one thing is for sure, is that the more you give us, the more you receive, and it doesn't always have to be material returns. Oh, absolutely not. If you notice, Paul, one of the things that we just shared, right, was that it impacts your physical health, right? So even how you may get the return to you where somebody is thankful towards you, believe it or not, I don't know about you, but there have been times that I've done things for people and I really wasn't even expecting them to say thank you, right? Because I tend to do things for people just because I want to. I'm not really expecting praise or accolades. But if it does happen, it is nice. It does make you feel good to know that your efforts were appreciated from someone else, right? So it does something for you. It heightens that, level inside of you where you said, oh, this feels awfully good, right? So there you go. All right. So Paul says, I don't like that saying, nothing can be half empty and equals to zero, and there are no half of zero. Well, Paul, we're not talking from starting from a level of zero, right? Well, even though in order to fill something up, whether, half full or half empty, it's speaking for the point of view as, okay, we have 100% and we have 50%. So, and zero is at the bottom, right? So what really the saying is really trying to say to you is that, okay, even if I have 50% and I'm not at the 100%, I am still going to be grateful. So I understand what you're saying, that you don't really like the saying, but shift your prism a little bit different, possibly, of how you think about it, right? Think about it at 100% level. And guess what? I'm starting at ground zero. But if I go up to 50, right? Even if I'm not at the 100, I'm still going to be grateful because it's better than ground zero. So I think that's more the message that it's trying to give. So to not look at your world as, okay, if it's not 100%, then I can't even appreciate the 50%. So perhaps a shift there in paradigm will help. All right, he says, Paul says, we should always be adding to the half glass. Absolutely. But remember, Paul, it's a process, right? It's a process that we have to go through. We don't just get there overnight, right? Think about the baby that started to walk. That baby started to creep first, right? And, when it raises its head, finally it gets enough strength in its neck to be able to raise the head, right? And then, okay, with the dribbling, remember when you see your baby and, I even pictures of you as a child and you see the dribbling when they're lifting their head finally, and then they lift the head and they can lift the upper body and they lift the upper body and then they start to creep. They get from all fours and they get to two legs, right, Paul? So it's a process. So give the people some grace, sir, in terms of being able to go through that process, right? So hopefully that helps a bit. All righty. So now it brings to mind Jesus and the 10 lepers. Yeah. Okay. So PB3. Okay. All right. Definitely. So PB3, for those of you who do not know, that's his grandson, right? So they all have PB, Paul Bennett. So that's what he means. It's the third generation, for those of you who do not know what PB3 means. All right. So Georgia said, when you give, the greater benefit comes back to you in the form of level of satisfaction, knowing that you are or were able to affect someone's life positively. Absolutely, right? Because I can definitely attest to that. I can definitely say that it definitely allows you to just feel so good in that the positive that you have put out there in the world. And also, just to cap back on what Paul said, it may not come back to you in the form of monetary gains. And quite honestly, the truth is, money's good. Don't get me wrong. I work on Wall Street. So yes, I love money. So don't misinterpret me. But in terms of the inner joy that it gives you to be able to say thank you and to be able to impact someone's life where they're grateful for you, it is worth so much more than money, because it's almost like the gift that keeps on giving, right? So it allows you to just really, really do that inner work. And I don't know about you, but health is my wealth. So if there's something that positively impacts my health, I'm all for that any day over money, right? Because money can be always be remade, but my health, well, that's another story, right? That's a journey that I want to keep it on the healthy pathway. So, okay. So Simone also says, we should be grateful in all situations. Easier said than done, but it's a habit that will be grateful to have in the long run. Of course. So Simone, there's part of the study that says, okay, it's easy to say, okay, do I feel grateful, or am I going to make a decision to be grateful? Now, let's break that down. I can feel grateful, but something bad happens to me. I put a frown on my face. I'm not so grateful after all now, am I? However, it's harder to sometimes control our emotions to say, let me be grateful in the times of distress. However, I can make the decision that I am going to be grateful. Now, how am I going to be grateful in a season of unrest, in a season of sadness, if a season of grief, in a season of, negative impact on my financial, world? I can step back and I can look around and see the smaller things that are positive, because there is no time in life, no matter what you're going on. I'm willing to go on record to say that there's absolutely no time in life that there is not going to be even a kernel, an acorn of something that is not good, that you cannot be grateful for. So that's the thing that you'll do, Simone. What you will then do is that you're going to make that decision to say, you know what? I don't feel like it today, but because I've made the decision and I want to make this a habit, right? And in order to make something a habit, it's going to take discipline. I am going to look for the small wins, that tiny acorn that's there, that, little glimmer of hope that's there. And I am going to be grateful for that. So that's one of the ways that you can actually go ahead and be grateful and try to make it that lifetime habit. And that's one of the things that I'm encouraging the ladies in my group, right? To say, hey, we did this for 14 days. Now, the mindset behind why I decided to do the 14 days challenge is because I actually have a program called Activating Your Destiny, right? And this program deals with actually, let me back up a little bit and tell you why I decided to develop the program. Because as you know, right, I'm everything confidence and leadership, right? I'm all about that. However, when I took a step back, and everybody's talking about pivoting. But when I took a step back and I look at what's actually happening right now in this world, and it's not only just in the US, this is a global thing, right? The quarantine. Okay, the loss of job, the loss of some industries have been totally turned upside down. So what is actually happening is that people were losing hope, right? So one of the best things to do is that, okay, how can I help you? How can I help all the people that are out there losing hope in the sense of how then can I now have confidence if I don't have hope? Because there is a correlation, right? So that's one of the reasons why I decided to roll out that program called Activate Your Destiny, that I share a little bit more about, it with you. But trust me when I say that you need that hope, and gratitude also helps to give you that hope. So that's the correlation there. All right. So Simone, I hope that helps a little bit. Alrighty. So Paul says, even living in this world of ungrateful people. Paul, well, guess what? You have a plethora of grateful people that we can focus on, right? Because they says that and that's one of the beauty of confidence, right? Confidence as well as being grateful. Gratefulness allows you to focus on the things that are good. It allows you to focus on the things that are positive. It even allows you to pull out the kernel of positive in a bad situation. So Paul, I don't know how many billion people there in the world. I forget the number, but I will encourage you to focus on those. All right. No problem. So, okay. So Georgia says, I can attest to that. Sometimes that feeling brings me to tears. Right, Georgia? It is such a powerful feeling when, oh gosh, you're making me want to tear up when you think about it. Sometimes like you're going through so much, right? And somebody says, well, what qualifies you to speak on hope? What qualifies you to speak on, gratefulness? What qualifies for you to speak on confidence? If you only know my story. You know the saying that says, you don't look like what you've been through? Honey, let me tell you. Okay, so let me give you a little hint of some of the things that I've been through. Major things, right? I'm not going to go through my whole life story, obviously, right? I have been through a near-death experience with a car accident. The anniversary of it just went by. It was July 30th. And you want to hear something spooky? The accident was on July 30th at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. I was actually on my way to work. So, people says, oh, you should pay that in the lotto. 7:30. I said, no, it wasn't a good day for me. Okay. So, but the thing about it is that I can look at I can be grateful about it because that happened in 2001. Now, I still do have the effects of it to this day. But guess what? I'm here standing. I'm here talking to you guys about how grateful I am that I'm not 6 feet under. By now, I would have been eaten by worms and become dust to dust and probably fertilizer in one of you all gardens, right? But thanks be to God, I'm still here, right? I've been through a divorce that I refer to it as a War of the Roses, literally for 20 years. Okay, it's been like, oh my gosh, whew, some of you pastors who are on this live have prayed for me. Okay, so I've been through that. I've actually been through lost their jobs. I've been laid off multiple times, right? There are some that, I asked to be laid off because the environment became so awfully toxic. It was like, okay, I have two choices. I can stay in this job or I can become terribly ill. I can be so stressed out that I feel like I'm going to get a heart attack, right? And I could go on and on and on with my life story, but I don't want to really make this completely about me. But what I'm telling you is, trust me, I know a thing or two about gratitude, hope, maintaining your confidence, maintaining your resiliency. So trust me, I am not only qualified to speak on this subject from a book academia perspective. God is so good to me, but guess what? He gave me the life lessons so I can be as authentic as possible when I come before you. So trust me on that one when I say it. Okay, so let me pop back to the comments, right? So Georgia says, I recently had a huge disappointment in business that literally caused me to feel crushed. It had me step back to myself for self-care zone, process all of that, then return to my reality. Okay, so if you hear me stumble a little bit, sometimes when you're typing on the phone, it maybe have typos and stuff like that. Not a problem. So I'm just trying to get the gist of what you're saying. So if I understood you correctly, you're saying, Georgia, that you just had a huge disappointment in your business. And what it allowed you to do of course, you were crushed at the time, but it allowed you to then take a step back and to then look and say, okay, how can I better position myself to go forward, digest the process, understand the reality of the situation, and then so that you can better do some level of self-care. So what I'm going to try to do also is to see if I can bring up some of your comments on my phone, because I think that will probably help a little bit in terms of reading it. So, okay. Okay, so I am looking at this. Okay, so then Dr. Cook also said that it's all about perspective. Challenges are opportunities. Dr. Cook, I couldn't have said it better, right? Of course. I also like to say, when I fail, I don't fail. If anything, I fail forward because I'm taking the lessons out of it. It's only to me truly a failure if I haven't looked for the lessons, the opportunities for me to then dust myself off and to say, okay, what do I do differently? How do I revamp myself to go forward next time? What worked, what didn't work, or maybe I threw that idea out the window completely and start afresh, right? Because sometimes what God wants us to do is to shift and to go into a different direction, right? And that is where, when you're able to, just like Georgia said, where she had to step back for a moment, apply some level of self-care, see where she can actually be grateful about certain things, and then move forward. So then Simone says, expressing her gratitude is important because you have no idea how your actions affect those around you and yourself. we should lose ourselves in the service of others in order to open your heart to blessings. Simone, absolutely, right? And that's the beauty. What's the commercial? Guys, remind me of the commercial that I think it's a battery commercial where it says it's like the gift that keeps on giving. And that's how I view gratitude, right? And then because if you notice, all of you so far, you've grabbed onto that whole reciprocal process, right? So because it's a reciprocal process, again, you don't know, as Simone just said, who's watching you, right? For all I know, somebody could be watching me right now. And the next thing they're going to put me on channel, I don't know, channel 5? Yeah, channel 5, channel 10, whichever channel they want to put me on, right? Who knows? The point is, when I decide to be grateful, when I decided to also extend gratitude, when I decide to do something for someone, it puts me in a position where I don't know who's watching. I do not know the impact. And you know what? The truth is sometimes you'll never know the impact. But there's a lot of people that like to talk about energy. But what you're at least putting out there, you're putting out good energy in the world. You're putting out where somebody comes alongside you. Have you ever been in a situation and somebody comes next to you and then all of a sudden you just feel happier? Because what you've just done is that you have been able to feed off that person's energy because they're just so positive that it can impact your world, right? And of course, the opposite is true. You can be around people who they sap your energy. But for the purpose of this live, we're going to focus on the positive side of the energy things, right? Because what we'll do is be grateful that we could feel that and move. Okay. All righty. So let me see if I am getting all the comments here. Okay. So Simone says, everybody has been through things worse and not as bad as you. It's all relative. Our attitude of gratitude is what makes the difference. And I'm happy that you said the word relative, right? Because what I do not want to be communicated is that to think that gratitude diminishes the criticality of the value experience that you're having, to think that it diminishes, just how bad the situation really is. Remember what I said. It does not change the situation necessarily. Okay. What it does is it positions you to be able to handle the situation in a better way from a mental and emotional point of view. And of course, because gratitude impacts your physical and being and your health, then it can also have a health impact on you too. So great. All right. So think of gratitude as a smile. It is contagious and it improves everyone exposed in the moment. Listen. I could have just grabbed some of you on this live with me. I'm just loving the comments that you're having out there, right? I am loving every single moment of these comments. So, oh, hey, Ron, how you doing? Oh, I see Ron there. He's there, posing as, his wife. He says, I'm listening. All righty. Thank you so much for listening, Ron. I appreciate you. All righty. So, okay. So as we go on, let me just look at this. So gratefulness produces happiness, joy, and inner peace. Absolutely. And then Paul says, energize the buzz that keeps you. Exactly. Exactly. Thanks for that. Right. So somebody actually once called me that one. They said, you like the energize the buzz. I said, listen, I'll take that because I need all the energy in the world that I can get. All righty. So if you, again, let's go back a little bit now and talk more about, okay, Georgia says you're more relaxed and less stressed. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So let's just go back a little bit more and talk about, share with me if you'd like in the comments, right? Instances where you were able to apply gratitude and how that changed the trajectory, either in the moment or even further down the road of what happened, of the outcome. Right. So and even if you're not able to put that in the comments right now, at least get it in your thought process. Right. Because remember, the purpose of this live here is to share with you, as I said before, in terms of gratitude being the path to destiny. So what I want you to do now is to take the correlation between gratitude. Right. How does that gratitude give me hope? And then how does that hope and the gratitude combine together? also helps to impact my destiny. Because remember what I said, it's not so much in the doing that it is, right? It's not so much in the doing. It is more about in the being. You're getting a level of awareness of who am I? How will I show up into this world? How will I be reciprocal in terms of expressing gratitude, in terms of doing things that will allow people to feel, you know, that there is someone out there that is thinking about them. Like, for instance, what we did with the 14 days gratitude challenge is that I, on the emails, right, and also within the group, if sometimes people, oh, what should I be thankful for? I feel like I'm being grateful for the same things over and over. There are so many options to be grateful for, right? So what I did was I gave different ideas for those 14 days. So it wasn't something that you had to do. It's just to give you an idea. So one of the things that we did also, which I should have brought it with me, but I have it in my other room, is a jar of for gratitude. So just go to the dollar store. So that's one of the things that I want to leave with you today, is to go to the dollar store and to grab one of those clear jars, right? Or any store you want to go to, for that matter. Grab one of those clear jars. Get the Post-it, but don't get this any old Post-it. Just have some fun. Colors makes me happy. So maybe I'll do the same thing for you too. Get one of those stickies that have the different colors. It's the pink, the yellow, the blue, whatever, so that you can see the pretty different colors as you fill the jar. And that's one of the reasons why I said to make it a clear jar. I really wish I had grabbed it with me before, but to give you an example. So this way, when you see that jar being filled up, right, it helps you to really, really say, oh, this is also awesome. And then with your family together, have a night after 30 days and just open that and read them all together. So that's one of my challenges that I want to put out there to you, and just as a suggestion for you to do, and just see how it impacts your family. So Paul says, don't be discouraged when you don't affect others with your gratefulness in life. Some people is stuck in grumpy. Paul, it is going to be my intention for this live to redirect you to the positive, right? Don't be concerned about those people who may not express the gratitude back, because guess what? One of the most authentic way of giving is not to be focused on the thank you from the other person. When you give, don't expect a thank you. That's one of the truest and most authentic ways of being a giver. All right. So Paul, it is going to be my urgent desire to have you refocus on the positives. All right. Now, Paul, especially you, I am challenging you, Paul, and I'm calling you out. And for the guys who are not on this, yes, I do know Paul, so I cannot harass him like that. Right. Paul, I am going to challenge you more than anybody else on this live. That jar, 30 days, and I want it accountable to me. Okay? Because we are going to get you to focus on the positives. All right? All right. So Muggy Mac says, evening, afternoon, all. Okay, be grateful. You have a glass and use that glass as your grateful pot/jar. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So Georgia said, real life story. Having tin mackerel and dumplings for dinner. Set my table with knife and fork and a cheap $4 wine and bottle. And I was so comfortable, grateful, enjoyed my meal, watching movies on my phone. I honestly felt relaxed and grateful. Absolutely. So for those of you who are not from the islands, I don't know. I think they have mackerel here. I don't know, but I haven't had that thing in such a long time that I don't even know if it's something here. I've never had it here in the US. But for those of you who are not from the islands, so we refer to mackerel. I think it comes in a tin. I don't know what it does here, so forgive me. But so that's what Georgia is talking about. But the point what she's really trying to make is that her dinner at that moment was not, this big 5-star dinner, right? It was basically quite cost effective, but the fact that she was able to sit there, have a glass of wine, and just watch movies on her phone, she in that moment was so relaxed and she was grateful for life. All right. So I think that's what she's trying to say. So Sonia says, thank you for coming across my page. I just seen this morning and I needed this. Oh, Sonia, you are most welcome. So guys, that is a perfect example of how things that you can do, and people can see you out there in the world and you have no idea, because I assure you, I do not know Sonia firsthand, but the fact that I came across her page and she is so happy that she needed it this morning. So that was like a great example right out the box. So Sonia, thank you so much for watching the live, and do feel free to share with others. Okay, so Simone says, appreciating and welcome opportunities to have others help and serve you is also important. It diminishes pride and allows you the joy in gratitude to spread. Absolutely, right? As you said, you welcome the opportunities that it allows for you, right? But it also puts you in the position to serve. And remember, what is the top strength of a leader, a true leader? What is that, guys? The top strength of a true leader is servanthood, because a leader serves. All right. So if you think about it, what did Jesus do? He washed your feet. Okay. He died on the cross for you. Right. So he actually served you. So if you want examples of leadership, start with servanthood. Okay. And being able to serve out there. Okay. All right. So guys, so let me bring this to a wrap up. But one thing I definitely want to share with you, as I said with you before, I have a, for the signs of the times of what would have been going on in terms of a lot of people were losing jobs. A lot of people were, becoming uncomfortable in what was happening. So what happened is that basically they were not able anymore to have that hope that they needed. So as I shared with you before, so I developed this program so I can help you to resolve that issue. So I can help you to basically restore your hope during these trying times. And it's not necessarily even only for these trying times, because the methods and the lessons that you will learn in this program are programs that will take you for a lifetime. And quite frankly, any programs that you work with me, because I believe in lifetime learning. Have you ever gone into and you listen to a talk and you feel real pumped up, and you're pumped up for that moment, and then you're lucky if it lasts for 24 hours, where you're like, oh, you're back down to square one, because quite frankly, you probably can't even remember what you heard. So this program is not like that. This program is a program that you can take those methods and the things that you will learn to a lifetime. You can repeat them over and over, because let's face it, also developing confidence is also done through repetition. So that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you. So if you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, you will see activateyourdestiny.com. So you can definitely go to that website, and you can also take a look at some of the testimonials that are, it's better to hear it from somebody else, right? In terms of people who have gone through the program, and just to hear what they have to say. So let me just grab the last few comments here. And Georgia says, thank you, Sonia. I struggle to accept help and being served. Okay, so then Sonia said, you're welcome, and I'm sure and will want to do the 30-day. Oh, absolutely, by all means, by all means. And Sonia, I think I saw a request for the group earlier. I think that was you, not I'm recognizing the name. So thank you. All righty. Me too. Okay, so you guys are talking in the group together. Nice. All right, awesome. All right, so now let's take a look at in terms of the Activate Your Destiny, some of the things that it does for you, right? It helps you to retrain your mindset. All right, because let's face it, mindset is huge. And it's one thing that I also did a lot of pivoting on myself to even focus a lot more of my courses on mindset, because it all starts within the mind. And it also was strengthened by my own experiences and the things that I'm going through. Now, some of you who are closer to me, you know some of the things that I'm currently going through. And I will tell you firsthand, if it wasn't that I delve into my mindset, that included having, gratitude, that included being able to focus on the positive, that including making sure that I protect my energy and making sure that I do not lose hope, right? So it made me be more authentic, and it also made me understand the importance of mindset and being able to reset and retrain your mindset now more than ever. So the other thing that you get in terms of, you're now able to better regulate your emotions. So we deal a lot with emotional regulation, because if you're not able to regulate your emotions, especially in the moment of maybe of a heated argument or some kind of disappointment or even something long term, it can have devastating effects on you. So you want to be able to have the tools and the strength to be able to regulate your emotions so that you do the thing that's optimum in that time that you're going through, that up and down emotions. And then the other thing we also teach is also how do you better navigate and negotiate with conflict, right? Because you are going to come across conflict at some times or the other. There's nothing that you can do about conflict. Just keep living. You'll have a conflict. But we give you strategies of how to better navigate conflict, what lens that you should see them through and what buckets that you would put them in, so then you can better understand what kind of conflict it is. What is at the root cause of the conflict? So then how can you then help to have a better ending and better results? So, and of course, we work on helping with all those things working together, right? And these are just some, small portion of what we do, but all of those things working together helps you to basically restore your hope and strengthen your confidence. So again, you'll see it's scrolling there. It's called Activate Your Destiny, and it gives you options. So go ahead. I won't kill, the live all about that for now, but I just wanted to share that with you because it will be totally bad of me to have such a great solution and not share it with you, right? So that is one of the things. So let me see if I'm picking up any other comments that you have there. So guys, hopefully this has been helpful for you. But and one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I did share it with my group, but I wanted to share with the people who are not in my group, including the gentlemen that are on here, is that there is a strategy for being able to stick with exercising gratitude every day. And this is for the people who, they prefer structure. They would rather to have something to hold on to as a guide. So I shared it with my group. So I'm going to give you some little inside secrets. All right. So it's a 3-part structure. The first thing is to emote it. All right. So for Paul, I'm picking on Paul. Right. So I'm going to give you that structure. So I'm going to get you in the positive lane here. Right. But it's for everybody. But you're going to emote it. What do I mean by emote it? I want you to embrace it. I want you to say to yourself, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Even if I don't feel it, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to embrace it, right? You know the saying, fake it till you feel it? Well, guess what? Some people don't like that saying, but if it works for you at this moment and that's what you have to do, do it. So I want you to emote it. I want you to embrace it. I want you to feel it. All right. So then you're going to extend it. Now, how do you extend it? That's when you include other people. A perfect example was Sonia. I'm going to pop up what Sonia just said here. She said, thank you for coming across my page. I have just seen this morning and I needed this. So what happened through the awesomeness of Facebook, all right, thanks to Zuckerberg, right, I was able to come across Sonia's page, even though I don't know her personally, but I was able to extend my gratitude conversations and it came across to her page. So that's how you extend it, by including other people, whether by technology, even knowingly or unknowingly, but that's how you extend it, right? So then in addition to that, then you exercise it. Now, remember what I said about developing confidence, that in order to be able to develop confidence, one of the mechanisms is that you apply repetition. Okay. So repetition allows you to repeat something over and over, just like brushing your teeth. You remember when you first started brushing your teeth as a little kid, right? Where okay, and they're trying to tell you to, rub on the top, rub on the bottom, stick your check out, all that wonderful stuff, right? And then you got to the point where, you can just do it easily. You don't even think about it anymore, right? So that's basically one of the methods towards being able to be confident. And of course, you're applying that now to gratitude. So, hey, I've just given you a 3-pronged method of how you can structure your gratitude on a daily basis. And of course, I also said that with the gratitude jar, where I said, grab that clear jar, dollar store, clear jar, Post-its, multiple colors to make it fun, right? And every day, share it with your family, and I guarantee you there'll be a difference. All right, so now, thank you so much for describing that for me, Simone, where she says, emote, extend, exercise. So yes, see guys, it's that easy. Emote, extend, exercise. All right, guys. So now I am going to wrap up, and thank you so much for hanging with me today on this Sunday. It is a beautiful day for us today. No storm. So glad for that. As a matter of fact, in my memories, it came up in my neighborhood last year, this time on August 9th. It showed where Route 18, close to where I live, it was underwater. And you saw the cars trying to get on. The water was high up. So today's sunny. So I'm grateful for the sunny weather today. So, guys, are there any more questions? Do you want to hang out to ask me anything else? I am going to give you a moment to do so. But thank you so much for all of you that are giving me those wonderful hearts. I appreciate it, and I am grateful for you for staying with me on this live, asking these questions, being interactive, all that wonderful things. And I hope you have found this helpful. And even just the method that I shared with you, I hope that was something that will be you'll be able to apply it in your everyday life. And remember, don't be stingy. Share the wealth. And what is the wealth in this case? You're going to share the application of gratitude. You're going to share developing the habit of gratitude. Because why? In order for you to really, really have influence, it starts with the people who are around you. It starts with your environment, right? So you influence the people around you, and then it compounds and it just expounds and it goes wider and wider and wider. And before you know it, we do have a better environment and we do have a better lifestyle. Because remember what we say, what we focus on grows. So I want you to focus on gratitude. Focus on the positive things in life. You can start with the small things, go up to the medium things, and then the big things. They're all good. But the bottom line is just make sure that you lead with an attitude of gratitude. Make sure that you restore that hope, strengthen that confidence. And if you need help doing so, do not hesitate. Go to activateyourdestiny.com so I can help you. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care and enjoy. Okay, so, all right. So I'm seeing, can I get the painting in the background? Perhaps for a fee. And okay, so they said, have a great day. Thank you. You're most welcome. And have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Dr. Cook. All right. So thank you, Simone. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Georgia and Muggy Mac. And for those of you who are watching and who are not commenting, I can see you there, but that's okay. I thank you, Kiana. Thank you. And those who would also watch the replay, feel free to do #replay. And guys, feel free to drop in there what you're thankful for. And for those of you also, the last thing. I sound like a preacher, right? I said last thing, it wasn't the last thing. Hey, what can I tell you? I'm a church girl. But anyway, proudly, by the way. My group, Women Who Rise in Hope and Confidence, you're welcome to join the group. We do focus a lot on, obviously, confidence and hope. And right now we're going through the gratitude challenge. We are on the last day in terms of the 14-day, but remember, you can always come into the group. The lives that I have every day in the group, they will stay in the group for perpetuity. So you can always go through them and, enjoy. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Take care. Paul, I'm not even paying you no mind. Okay. Thank you, Judy. Great one today, as always. Thanks, Georgia. Take care. Have a nice one. Bye-bye, guys.